Hello, my name is Paul Henry. Welcome to our Patch Tuesday update for April 2012. You know, in life there's two certainties, taxes and patches. As we approach April 15th, we get to deal with both filing our income taxes, our corporate taxes, and in the same week dealing with a taxing bunch of patches from Microsoft and many others. Regarding Microsoft, while the overall number of patches is light, we're getting 4 critical patches along with 2 important ones, impacting a wide array of platforms and applications, including Microsoft Windows, IE, .NET, Microsoft Office, SQL Server, Windows Server development tools, and Forefront. Of concern is that some critical issues seem to impact Windows from the older legacy XP platform that we've come to expect, along with current Windows 7 and Windows 2008 platforms, which is really surprising as they've had the benefit of Microsoft's secure coding initiatives. Now let's look at the details from Microsoft for this Patch Tuesday. MS 01223 is rated as critical. It's a cumulative security update for IE. It does require a restart. Now this patch impacts IE across the family of platforms. It corrects 5 privately reported issues and addresses a remote code issue. Now, one of the patches to IE includes ongoing work by Microsoft to provide additional risk mitigation for cross-site scripting. Additional details and a link can be found on the Lumension blog site. Now, MS 01224. It's rated as critical. It handles a vulnerability in Windows. It requires a restart. This vulnerability impacts third-party signed code and could be used in a man-in-the-middle attack. MS 01225. It's rated as critical. The vulnerability handles some .NET framework issues. It may require a restart. This is a .NET developer issue that could allow remote code execution. MS 01227. It's rated as critical. It handles a vulnerability in Windows Common Controls code. It may require a restart. Now, this is an ActiveX issue which impacts numerous applications, and it could potentially allow remote code execution. Now, MS 01226, it's rated as important. It impacts Forefront UAG. It may require a restart. This is an issue that takes advantage of a UAG direct access issue and is considered an informational disclosure issue only. Now, MS 01228. It's rated as important. It takes care of a vulnerability in Microsoft Office. It may require a restart. This is a Microsoft Office write access issue that could potentially allow remote code execution. From a priority perspective, naturally, you'll want to take care of the critical issues first if you're running those particular applications, and of course follow that up with the lesser patches for the rated important issues. Now, it's also important to remember that as of this month, only 2 years now remain before the end of support for Windows XP. In terms of security updates, there is a measurable benefit in moving off of Windows XP. Further, in terms of malware infection rates, Windows XP Service Pack 3 machines had an infection rate 6 times higher than Windows 7 Service Pack 1 32-bit machines, and almost 10 times higher than Windows 7 Service Pack 1 64-bit machines. Hence, clearly, there is also significant benefit in Windows 7 versus Windows XP when considering the respective risk exposure infection rate. It's also worth noting that April 10th, 2012 is also the end of full support for the black sheep of the Redmond family, Windows Vista. Keeping in mind now, extended support will continue until 2017. Now, perhaps the bigger story this Patch Tuesday is all about Apple, and of course their lack of a formal Patch Tuesday process that would in any way resemble what's being offered today by Microsoft. Anyone with internet access has been reading the stories of Apple products being impacted with yet more malware. This time around, it is already impacting an estimated 600,000 Macs. Now, after snubbing the researchers that found the botnet, Apple eventually releases a patch that, as always, plays down any sense of urgency to empower users to decide for themselves just how urgent a patch from Apple actually is. If you just so happen to have checked for updates on your Mac today, you would have seen a note that a Java patch is available. In looking at the note, it clearly states, Java for OS X 2012-001 delivers improved compatibility, security, and reliability by updating Java SE6 to 1.6.0-31. Nowhere in this information is any sense of urgency or any mention of the 600,000 users already impacted. The original patch from Apple was released on April 3rd. It was quickly followed up with yet another patch on April 6th. It is assumed that a glitch in the original patch necessitated a second patch to be released by Apple. Again, no mention of any urgency from Apple or that already 600,000 Apple users were infected, and that the exploit Apple has patched, has clearly been used in the wild. If Apple wants to be taken seriously as an enterprise player, they have to act like one and stop trying to hide behind their issues. Take a lesson from Microsoft and own up to the issues they're exposing their users with. Provide enough information so that users can make educated decisions regarding the urgency necessary in proper flaw remediation. It's also interesting to note that it was about 7 weeks after Oracle released a patch for an eerily similar Java issue that Apple addressed the issue, albeit quietly themselves. Now, several vendors, including Kaspersky, along with many others, have provided analysis on the size of the botnet. So we really do believe that this 600,000 unit number, it is a good number. It's also rather disappointing that no automated tool has been provided by Apple so far to determine if your Apple is already infected. One was developed by Juan Leon from GPS device manufacturer Garmin called Flashback Checker A. The tool is available on the internet. You can find a link to the tool on the Lumension Patch Tuesday blog post. Now, other Patch Tuesday noteworthy news. Adobe. Another recent patch worth mentioning, of course, is the patch from Adobe recently that fixes 2 critical vulnerabilities in Flash Player running on Solaris, Linux, Mac OS X, and of course Windows platforms. You can read more from the link on the Lumension blog post. Google has also released multiple patches for Chrome this Patch Tuesday period. The latest patch on April 9th addressed 12 security issues and followed the previous patch only released just 8 days earlier. Also, Mozilla has now added vulnerable Java plugins to its blacklist in efforts to protect users in its latest patch. This has been our Patch Tuesday update for April 2012. Thank you for listening.